Yo, neighbors. Sorry, Baldy.
Right.
Christmas. What up, man? It's episode 201, A Toy Kind of Mood, holiday special, Christmas night, pre recorded. We're not doing this on Christmas. But anyway, it's the most anticipated G.I. Joe classified series, action figures and vehicles of 2025 with three very special guests, but one of them belongs on Toy Kind of Mood. The other is, though, Bees Battlegrounds and Shark Eyes Toy View. What is good, my friends? I'll go to Baldy first.
Yo, guys, check out my Centaur Santa.
Woo! Bringing in the holiday cheer as
It's
usual.
11 degrees here.
Woo! And it's also cold where B is because you said the furnace is about to rock and roll over there. Where are you at, buddy?
Just outside of Pittsburgh, it's like 20 degrees here, I think. I don't got a Santa shirt, I just got my Barbell Voodoo shirt on, so.
In the Christmas dungeon, I see. Sharky, what is it? About 7:30 a.m. And I think you've already popped the cold one.
Cheers, boys. Indeed, I have. I'm getting into the holiday spirit. It's my first day of holidays today, actually. So I figured, why not? You know, I'm here with the lads. Got to do it.
Got a mix of everything. I got tea because it's mid-afternoon. B's back in his work routine, so he's got the C4 going, and you guys are already starting the party very early. But we're going to start the party early as well and reflect on 24 before we get into 25 because we got two of the most prolific reviewers going in the G.I. Joe classified realm and in toys in general. I'm going to go with you, Shark. Adam, first, I'm going to go with you. You had a favorite. That was also my favorite G.I. Joe classified figure of the year, and we'll just pop that up. Doc Greer, talk about him.
Yeah, man. He just ticked all the boxes for me in terms of a classified figure. A big sort of selling point, I think, is the modular nature of like his web gear and stuff like that. Even if some of it doesn't sit on there properly, I like the fact that you can just flick things around and change it. You know, you've got the stretcher, which again wasn't perfect, but he can carry it, and it stays on his back pretty well. I haven't had any issues with that. Just the sculpting of the figure, the glasses that fit under the helmet that are see-through,
Tinted.
It's got enough of the original, like paying homage there, but bringing it forward into the classified line, which is, I think, where sometimes they fall short with actual classified releases, and it's something that they've stipulated. So when they nail it like this, it deserves all the kudos.
Couldn't agree anymore. B, you were a fan of Doc, but you had another guy that you had even higher. Not to spoil your own list. I know you got a video coming out for that as well, but it was Duke Retro.
Yeah. It was, I like the way everything, like he pieced together. He's brand new. I mean, Series 1, Wave 1, whatever you want to call it, left a lot to be wanted. I mean, he did the job for the time being, minus those shin pads, but I think retro is great. And I'll be the first person to tell you that I can't stand retro designs. I think everything should be brought to 2024, but his look works. He's got that military look still, and he's still true to the original, so it all works out.
Mm-hmm. And our own Bobby, sometimes we get him confused because he's a Bobby B as well.
That's why I made my name B in this.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool. But yeah, Bobby Bear, shout out to him. He also picked Retro Duke #1. And our conversation was you got to get the important characters right. They've gotten Snake Eyes right over and over again. And so with Duke and Scarlet bringing them into the retro line and almost perfecting, or at least perfecting them, they're getting serious accolades for 2024. That was the key for Duke and Scarlet there. As for Baldy's pick, you got to watch last week's episode. We had almost 3.5 hours of 24 G.I. Joe Classified Series. Go check that out. Now, one guy I want to shout out is my boy Diagnostic 80, Chris. He on the Full Force. He did a terrific interview on the 17th. It shows, but I believe he put it up a few days later on the Full Force Redacted interview with Lenny and Tony from the Hasbro team. And there's some notes and stuff that I want to go over. And as we go through our picks and most anticipated figures for 25, we'll definitely talk about some of the news and notes that we got in there from the characters we actually picked. So some of the first ones, I'll go to you, Baldy, first. Blowtorch, his helmet is removable, and so is the mask itself. And I mean, you could basically you could take the helmet off with just the mask off, or you could leave you can take the whole thing off. I just want your thoughts on the news about him having a full portrait blowtorch.
Yeah. I think it's smart. It looks like a nice updated design. I like the fire effects. I think those are carryover from Torch, it looks like.
Yeah.
That backpack is barbecue, but I like it. I think this is going to be a fun figure. I've never seen a helmet design like that, really, but it looks like, again, a lot of fun. If this is a figure you've been waiting for, this looks like a nice updated design.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was kind of wacky. It didn't make any of our lists, but it looks like a pretty great figure. But Adam, in the community, some people were thrown off by the classifying up with the black. I mean, some of the good news here is that he has the hair and there's no airtight thing with the helmet. So it's the helmet connects like to a pipe that Lenny was talking about, and it fits together really well. So are you excited for Blowtorch at all?
Yeah, I like the black. I think it kind of makes breaks up the red and the yellow a bit. But I don't know. He's not a character that I've really sort of ever had a big longing for. As much as I do appreciate the flamethrower, like as a weapon, even though it's being banned by the Geneva Convention. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know if it's a wait for the retro release or get this one. I'm kind of six of one, half a dozen the other here, because it's not going to differ a lot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I do,
but I like the mask with the helmet. I like that. It's nice.
Oh yeah, and especially with the new info we got, I'm definitely more excited for it. I do want to mention that Lenny said that they have a ton of samples coming in, Bobby B, and that they should start showing some stuff. I know Tony concurred and said after the holidays they're going to start having some stuff too. Do you have a guess as to when we're going to get a next fan stream, or because we just got a Marvel one, but what's up with GI Joe news? How you feeling about that? Who's someone who keeps up with it like you?
I think there's just been such a delay. I know when they lost Emily to go do the brand manager for every other Hasbro brand besides GI Joe, it seemed like they kind of took a little bit of a hit, and then BMAX stepped in. I don't know if he's just GI Joe or if he's split among the other brands also, but I feel like we're for as popular as GI Joe and Classified has been, I feel like we're not getting enough fan streams. But with all the leaks and all the info, like there's just, I mean, we almost know a handful of figures that are coming out next year that haven't even been officially said. There's pictures of Crystal Ball floating around. So I think that if they could find a way to get on top of that, or like Crystal Ball shows up, all right, 2 days later, release a digital render every now and then, I think that would do them a lot better when it comes to the public eye, in my opinion. So, but I'm guessing spring would be the next fan stream, or what's the GI Joe birthday? February 14th,
February 1st.
February 1st. So
yeah. I'm leaning the same way as you, Bobby, that will be closer to that GI Joe day. I think it'll be technically the 61st anniversary this year. So I agree. Like these leaks it's not killing them, but they need to roll with the times. So I would love it if the leaks stopped. Like some people are just ridiculous, but it's that Amazon mentality. We want it now. You know what I mean? And you want the info now, so they need to roll with that. Just adapt to it.
It's interesting how it never happens with the other lines, though, like the leaks.
Never, almost never.
Because people want this line. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't exactly leaked. It was a name-only reveal. Bobby, I'm going to circle back to you. You talked about Retro Duke. Are you excited for Retro Flint? And I mean, the thing is, Lenny and Tony did say that a lot of these retro figures coming out will be updated quite a bit, and that they're still going to pull from the library, but to keep it retro. So they're not like, there's not going to be a lot of all new pieces, of course, but at least they're not going to emulate what was classified. And Lenny definitely says he wants to get Flint here as close to the OG as possible. And of course, we got our Sunbow look. What's your thought on retro Flint?
I think it could turn out pretty well. Thinking of some of the figures, or I've seen some of the kit bashes or customs made, like Tony's figs, for example, where they put the short sleeve or condo arms on them on the existing Flint and stuff like that. So I think it's much needed. I think the web gear harness, Yeah, I like the update with the plate between the two straps and the classified version, but I think it'll look pretty good in the retro classified version itself. So
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it'll be an interesting year because we do have Sunbow looks coming in with mass device figures. Some of you guys are anticipating those. We have some of those choices as well. And Adam, we talked about this in our little pre-show, the Televiper, and this was a pretty interesting segment of the interview on Full Force. How he's got some different parts and pieces now. It's not going to be just the one that came with the flight pod, the trouble bubble, of course. And I guess he joked that it will have a cute new addition. I mean, they joked about the Teddy Viper. It's probably not going to happen, but it is something from the Sunbow animated series and there's new parts, but it might be right here, right?
It could well be, Trav. This is where my brain went when they were talking about that in the interview. The heads-up displays kind of that you see here in the graphic is iconic to the cartoon Televiper. And I don't know if it features in the comics like that or not. It might have been a little bit different from memory. But yeah, I'm all for that. Like I was probably going to just be like pass on the Televiper. But if they bring that out with that, like that's a must-have. Especially if they do a couple of different ones, maybe. That'd be cool. Or something interchangeable. I don't know how they do it, but
yeah, that would be a good idea. Interchangeable. Baldy, we've got to be excited that retro figures are coming out and that they're adding new parts and new additions to like keep it fresh. Like, because like Bobby B talked about. I don't know why I'm saying Bobby B because the other Bobby is Bobby B as well. I might as well just say Bobby at this point. But Baldy, the cool thing is he likes them classified up. But if they're going to give new pieces and parts to retro, at least that makes it fresh and exciting, right, Baldy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with the Televiper, I think if they did do that kind of that HUD display or whatever you call it, if they did something clever with that, that would be a lot of fun because they're basically tough IT guys, right? They're the bad guys in Die Hard 3, the guys that are in the trailer. So yeah, they could make them cool. It would be great, and I know the technology is there if you could mess around with the display and change it up. But
Cool.
That adds money. They're not going to do that. That's more of like a Pulse exclusive, which the fanboys don't like.
Unreal. Do want to give a special shout out. We gave a shout out to the Full Force, but also to our good buddy Carson Metaxas, 3djoes.com. Go check them out. Man, just so many awesome images we got from 3djoes.com for this episode to bring back callbacks of the G.I. Joe from 80s lore and kind of looking at the future through the nostalgic lens. So big shout out to 3D Joe's and Carson. And yeah, go get that omnibus. That thing's amazing. Look, first up, we're going to talk about our most anticipated HasLab, of course. And we all know the Rattler's coming out. We'll definitely talk about that. But we're talking about like, it's more like HasLab announcement. Of course, we're not going to get a new HasLab for 2025. That's not the Rattler, but we could get an announcement. And that's basically what this is all about. Adam, I'm going to go to actually, no, what we're going to do first is give a shout out to a Toy Kind of Mood because they couldn't be here. Actually, no, I just didn't let them be here. We have to talk about, we had to hang with Adam and Bobby, but Baldy, thanks for hanging out. We're going to have more Toy Kind of Mood next week. We got a best of Marvel and Jada toys, and the following week, best of everything else. And we got Mega J Retro, I think, coming in, maybe MCU Collector on Parallel Universe, just some big time guests hanging out with a Toy Kind of Mood during the holidays. So it's going to be awesome. And everyone else from a Toy Kind of Mood will be hanging out. But I thought it'd be cool, instead of giving everyone honorable mentions, I thought it'd be cool to get picks from everybody from a Toy Kind of Mood and us just kind of commenting on their picks. And some of them are traveling for the holidays, like this guy, Genghis. He's pretty happy he's not here. He's not going to be able to. He's with his parents and folks down south. So go check it out. But motorized battle tank, the Mobat. I'm going to go to you, Adam, on this. How you feeling about Genghis's choice? Because I know you're going to want to talk about tanks when we come to you. But how do you feel about the Mobat being a possible HasLab?
Yeah, look, shout out to KJ. It's a good pick. I've never had a Mobat in my entire life of collecting from vintage to modern to now. So look, I'd back it. Even though I'd prefer, I think, the Mauler. I think, it's a classic vehicle, and obviously with a mechanized version like the original, if they could do that, it's gonna make a lot of people happy. And you will get who's the driver? Is it Steeler from memory? Is it Steeler the driver of the Mobat?
He's from Pittsburgh.
In there. It is Steeler, isn't it, Bobby?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. It's a way to get him into the line as well. So yeah, bring it on.
Cool. Well, you just said it. You're a Pittsburgh Steeler. B, is this something you're excited for or what?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to pricing and everything and size with the ramen stuff coming out to kind of rival it. I know that'll generate a lot of waves throughout the community and stuff. So I'd be curious to see how it would actually play out, and if it would have the motorized function itself. So, but I'd rather get Steeler with the Mobat than get a Steeler without the Mobat. So I'd probably be for it.
Yeah, and I could see, with Clutch coming with the Vamp, we definitely could see a Steeler come with this. But even though it's a much larger vehicle, Baldy, another Terradrome teammate of KJ's, picked the Conquest. I know you had some fun in flight, Pat, in the past with your videos, but how you feeling about the Conquest X30 as a choice from Tony's Figs?
It's pretty cool. I know a lot of people like the Conquest. It seems like something that would be more shelf friendly as far as display goes. I never had this. I remember my cousin had this as a kid, and so I'm not totally attached to it, but I think, Tony would love to have this thing, and I think a lot of people would. So it's a good choice.
I'm surprised he even made a choice, because in the past he's never backed any HasLab, and he had to buy it from a buddy of his on the community pages. So we'll see if he actually, twice exactly. So we'll see if he actually backs it. This I did have a kid. I didn't have a whole lot of vehicles as a kid, no space or whatever, even as a kid. But I definitely remember having the Apache helicopter, the Tomahawk, and I definitely had this. These were the two iconic ones for me. As well as a couple others that we'll talk about. But yeah, just the shark. You're able to put this on the Dragonfly, and look who's playing with one right now.
This is for you, Baldy. I just felt like flying something through the air. This is not the OG one. This is the modern one. But
okay, looks outstanding.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to have this as a HasLab. Why not?
Yeah, and it would definitely have to be a HasLab, just because look, that's the retro. It's already pretty big. So. But it's much smaller than the Sky Striker, right?
Oh yeah, much smaller, mate. Yeah.
Speaking of the Sky Striker, a little behind the scenes trivia. I had to edit out the audio of us breathing heavy while we were running with that Sky Striker through the park.
Here's another one I had as a kid, Adam. I'm going to stick with you. It's the Killer Whale, and this was also my choice. As you could see, a Toy Kind of Mood logo, and we got Shark Eyes logo there. So we both went in on the Hovercraft Whale.
Yeah, bro. This is a grail piece for me. I've never owned the original toy. Barely even seen it in person, to be honest. And it's been often mentioned how much people would love it as a HasLab, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it'd be too big," and da 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 da. And I know some people have actually 3D printed it. So I think it would be awesome if they did this. There's so much room for display. You've got so many moving parts. There's a lot they could do with it.
It would definitely stand out on the shelves for sure. It's just a very unique looking sea vehicle, and this does to me more so than the other two. And no offense to my Terradrome teammates, but this feels more like a dream project. The tank, we got third parties doing it. We already got a Sky Striker. Even though it was retro, we already got that as a HasLab. To get this just feels completely different. And I think B, you do kind of agree with me, because this was my choice for last year. Now we got the Rattler, but sorry about that. You had mentioned Adam. I'll cut to you real quick. that the Mahler MBT you think will be the real deal instead of the killer whale, actually.
Yeah, that's just if I'm going off like gut instinct. That was the pick that I feel like, you know, the way they could sort of go with that. It's a bit different to the Mobat. And if they do that, you don't have to worry about one of the OG characters in Steeler being baked in with a HasLab. So you would get what's his name here? God, I've just gone blank. Someone help me.
Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal, thank you. I was going to say Metal Gear. I don't know why. Metal Gear.
Solid Snake comes with Solid Snake. Even
Yeah.
though, why would Solid Snake be a GI Joe?
Metal Gear would be a solid guess, but I'm pumped.
It's the beer talking. It's still early here, boys. It's still early.
Awesome. But yeah, but just to cut to the point, basically, you think that would be more realistic choice. But of course, we mentioned we're starting to see stuff like that third party. And cutting back to the original point, my choice for Rattler, my choice for a HasLab instead of the Rattler was the hydrofoil, Bobby, but this was your choice for next time, but there could be some issues with boats and water and stuff with Hasbro.
Yeah, like I'm all for this. Like you kind of cover with the whale, and they've said it before in the past that a HasLab is like a centerpiece of a collection. So I want something that that's going to catch your eye when you walk in. And sure, the Hiss did that, but then we got the Vamp, and then we got the Stinger, and that kind of pulls away from the Hiss itself. So when you cycle back to being a centerpiece of your collection, you want to be able to display figures on it, hang figures off it, whatever you want to do. And you can kind of do that with the Dragonfly, but I think the O-ring version could hold 9 figures or had like spots for 9 figures on it. And like you were saying with the whale, like you just want to cover it with figures in the middle of your display and draw all the attention. And I feel like that'd be great for this. But I know that what was it during the GIJoe June stream? Lenny said something about no water vehicles. So I don't know if they're having like issues water tighten electronics, or if stuff just can't float, or some buoyancy issues, or what. Who knows? So
yeah. Hopefully we'll get an update
in the tub with me for sure.
Well, the biggest complaint would be if they did one that didn't float, was like, oh, it doesn't float, I'm not buying that. But that same collector is the one that would keep it in its box in his garage for the next 20 years. So they wouldn't even open it and try to get it to float.
Oh man, I gotta say, B, my favorite thing about your reviews lately is your comments about some of the people in the community. It makes me laugh. But one guy who makes all of us laugh because he had the #1 choice among all of us. He always has to show us up. It's Baldy Locks with his HasLab choice, them patches.
Listen, I ordered about 3 different shades of blue for my my jean jackets to display these on. I did get a bomber jacket in like very dark blue. So keep on bringing out the patches. This is a #1 seller. I think this is what people were waiting for. We can't wait to see the Joe version, and then maybe the Dreadnoks. And then we could just open it from there. Glow in the dark Night Force patches. I don't know what they're waiting for, but let's go.
It would have to be that black light thread where it's the mini golf course, and
no black light, all glow in the dark natural.
These will be the #1 seller on Macari for 2025. That's a prediction that I have right there. Our brother in a toy kind of mood also kind of went with the Rattler. Obviously, we're getting it. I don't think he understood what the assignment was, but he chose the Rattler. But it's a good time to talk about it. Anyway, Baldy said, "Screw the plane, give me the patches." But Baldy, I'll cut back to you about the plane. Are you excited though for this Rattler? I mean,
no.
the plane itself.
No, I've told people this. I'm not excited for this thing. I did back it. This is the first Joe HasLab that I waited till the last week to back. And that's because I was all team hydrofoil. I wanted the Moray. That is a true dream project. I think the Rattler sells itself. Just put that thing up on Pulse and make it a Pulse exclusive, and it sells itself. You don't need all the extra figures. Not to say that it's not great. It is. I do want the Rattler. I just think it sells itself. It doesn't need that HasLab kind of tier to it. So I would have went with the whale or the moray, you know?
Right. And I think we all kind of agree with that. But Adam, you're nodding your head. Well, yeah, go ahead.
100% with Baldy on this. I didn't back it because, and like you said, Trav, like HasLab should be a dream project, and the Rattler in its original iteration is small. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's a great vehicle. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love it, but it just was. I was happy to leave it there, and yeah, it just didn't scream to me that I needed it. So yeah, I don't have any FOMO at all.
B, is this a good response to the Dragonfly or what?
I wanted the Rattler before we got the Dragonfly, and then after we got the Dragonfly, I didn't care for the Rattler. When it comes to display pieces, I think obviously you can fold the wings up and all that stuff. So I think it's, but again, it can only hold 2 figures, and who knows how many times we're gonna get that Baroness again. So I would have rather gotten some lampreys or some different colored eels or stuff like that with the hydrofoil moray. So
some hot takes on the Rattler for sure, but I'm with you guys. I mean, I wanted the moray, and now that we got, I kind of do the, even though they said it's not necessarily Joe Cobra, it should be, you know what I mean? Like, it just should be. So I think the next HasLab has to be after Rattler should be GI Joe, and that's kind of why I went with the Killer Whale over the moray. Anyway, and I picked the moray last year. I'm trying to a lot of my picks this time, I'm just like, I picked it last year, so let's pick new stuff. One of the things in the interview that they mentioned and joked, Tony was like, it's always a possibility to go bigger than the Rattler, and then they said Rolling Thunder confirmed, and that was a joke. But how big, really, Sharky, do you think they could ever go? I mean, with the HasLab, truly.
Look, man. Yeah, I've got a USS flag sitting here. It takes up a lot of room, so let's just automatically remove that from the equation. Yeah, look. Oh, honestly, like room, like space is something. It's our enemy. It's all our enemy.
They did mention that. They did say they factor in space and price, and it's not just because they said we could go hard and ham and all this during the interview, but we go wacky and crazy. But they also are like very business hat on while they're thinking about this stuff too. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you know, we just touched on with the Rattler, the wings fold up. It's like, who's going to display it with the wings folded up?
Me, because I have Robo Skulls lined up next to it.
Well, see, that's what I mean. Like, it's you want it to look like in all its glory, like, you know, a fixed wing vehicle, like whether it's banking on its like stand or hanging from your roof or whatever. Not that I would do that, but you know, to each their own. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I'm content with the size things are now. Like, doesn't need to go much bigger. But I'm also, I'm a realist. That's just how I am.
You know what they could have done when you go to speak about displaying. It's the one thing McFarlane nailed right with that Batwing. He's got the wall mount display. Had they offered that with the Rattler, that saves up a lot of space for people. It makes it a cool way to display it. But with the folded wings, it becomes a talking point, right? And then a guest might say, "Oh, let me see that." You bring it down, you open it up, then it becomes a real talking piece. But at the same time, it's odd. That's not what we had. And I do like the modern take and the changes to it. But at the same time, if you're going to get a Rattler, maybe display it on the wall in a unique way, you know?
B, how big do you want Classified Joe to go?
I like the size of the his tank. I think it covers pretty well. For the space, it fits on top of a D12 pretty well. That's where mine's at right now. But the way they did the Dragonfly with the stand, I think that's a nice touch. However, I got to find a spot for the stand, and then I got to find clearance for the Dragonfly on top of it. So I think it works out pretty well. I think it just depends on where you want to go. But like I said, I want something that I can cover with figures. So I guess big enough to hold some figures, but nothing too outrageous. I think I don't know how big a hydrofoil was to a Hiss tank, so you have to compare that. But thinking of the Hiss with how you can put a couple figures on the side of it, it makes sense. So I think that'd be my ballpark area.
Yeah. And it's a great segue to our next segment because we're going smaller in the vehicle zone and we're going to our retail vehicles now. And this is the stuff you can find, Hasbro Pulse and stuff like that. So next up is a pick from Genghis and Tony's Figs, Team Terradrome. They both went with the Skyhawk. We're seeing third-party stuff on there. B, I'll keep you here. What's your feeling about the Skyhawk? It's a little smaller, definitely retail. How much would you pay for something like this?
I think it would probably be around 40 or so because it's only one seater, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'd probably say 40 to 50, somewhere in the ballpark of the motorcycle. What was the trouble bubble? Was that 80?
54.
54. So yeah, I'd put it, well, I guess since it's 2025 now, I'd probably put it like 55, 50, 60, I guess, to cover the times.
It'll come with a figure. Yeah, it'll come with a figure, obviously, because they all do. So
lift ticket. It's got to come with lift ticket.
There you go.
That's a good call.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd probably see somewhere around there.
Cool. All right, Sharky, I'm going to go to you. Genghis had a tie, and he went with another smaller vehicle, this time for Cobra. It's the Fang.
Yeah, look, man, another good pick from KJ. Who doesn't want a Fang? Iconic little vehicle, featured heavily in both the comics and the cartoon. Perfect for the suicide jockey that's piloting it. Like it's fantastic, and it'd be around the same price point as the Skyhawk. I'd count me in on a couple of those, definitely. Just hanging them from somewhere is going to be the hardest part, or displaying them, in a flight sort of mode. I guess give us a stand, give us some sort of stand that we can buy through Hasbro that allows us to prop up these sort of smaller aerial based vehicles. That would be sick.
Some wire. Hey, Baldy, I got to keep you grounded and go with Tony's other tie choice here, the Awe Striker.
Yeah. I like this. I always did kind of like it. I like the Transformer that they did recently, the Bumblebee one, that came with Stalker. It's a fun little vehicle. I used to have Dusty as the driver when I was a kid. It just seemed like he was at home with that one. But yeah, this is shelf friendly. You could probably still get this in under $70. I don't know what character they would include with it, but any vehicle that comes out is going to get a character. That's how they're going to keep it numbered. But I don't know. I would love to have
Wasn't it Crankcase?
Yeah.
Yeah, Crankcase.
Was it?
Red ginger dude with a beard, yeah.
It did come with a figure, right?
Yeah, it's Crankcase. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I guess I wasn't thinking, but yeah. Good idea. And bring the gingers on. I do love them. I do love them redheads.
Nice. Hey, Bobby, you said it's pretty cold out there. How you feeling about your choice, the Snowcat?
I think it's long overdue. We got the snow serpents and we had snow job. I thought it was just destined to happen, and then it didn't. So the Snowcat was one of the vehicles I had as a kid, and the Spy Troops version, I guess. So take that as you will. It was awesome. I'd always hang figures off the side of it. The snow torpedoes were pretty funny to me, even as a kid, but it's 2-seater. It's pretty awesome. You're good to go. So I wouldn't mind seeing it. Would probably get Frostbite with it.
Yeah.
So, nice. I think he's long overdue as well. So it's been a while since they've touched any Arctic guys.
Well, we get the Arctic guys in the summer.
That's how it is. It's like in Hollywood when we're shooting winter scenes in the summertime, 90 degrees. Put on 3 layers.
Put this parka on. You gotta play the part.
Exactly. Shark, we're gonna come full circle with Cobra here. You chose. Oh no, actually, this is Baldy that chose this guy. But we'll save your pick for next. But Baldy, Cobra Claw, you actually went with something we're gonna get.
Yeah. I don't think I understood the assignment either. But
no, it's okay to pick stuff that is actually retail. No, that's completely. It actually threw me off that you chose something. That's why I was like, okay, we'll go to Adam, and I was like, oh no, Baldy picked something that's we can actually buy.
I actually really like this. I like the update. This is long overdue. This is that I'll never forget seeing this in the silent interlude comic. The way they kind of jettison away at the end and they steal one of these claws. I've always liked this thing. I've seen a lot of great 3D prints. I have, I think, 2 3D prints of this. But
Mark II design.
Sorry?
Mark II design.
Yeah, Mark II design. That's who I got it from. Yep. And I do like this because it feels updated. It's got the folding wings. It's got the landing gear. And I'm excited to get another iteration of a female trooper. I don't know if this would be a Valkyrie or not, but I like the different head swaps, the different helmet. It's this looks like a lot of fun to me, so I'm looking forward to this.
That's always a nice touch. I mean, you got the blast effects, multiple weapons, multiple looks. That means they're just like putting in a lot of effort.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know what happened to Sharky. Did we lose him?
I'm still here. My lamp just fell off the back of this.
Cool. Well, I'll keep it on a picture if you just want to talk. It looks like every single other person involved with this choice went with the Thunder Machine, man. We went with Thrasher's Thunder Machine. If you're while you're still picking up that lamp, do you want to talk about?
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Talk about the big Dreadnought vehicle that should go to retail.
Yeah, like a lot of people originally were saying this should be a HasLab, but no, I think it should definitely be a retail release. You probably want to go a little bit bigger than the Vamp in terms of the length because you only need it to be a 2-seater like the Vamp. It's iconic once again, mate. I love this vehicle as a kid, and we've got so many Dreadnoks now, but we ain't got nothing to put them in, so it makes sense that they drop this on us. The craving and demand is there, so and they've done the Transformers version not that long ago. And
that I cannot get at Ross. I went to one Ross and that was enough. That was enough for me. Stepping into one Ross is all I can handle, man. I'm sorry.
It's a very interesting store. That's for sure.
I'm actually shocked this thing made it to Ross. This thing, it's incredible. The engineering now. This is what we dreamt of as kids, like for a crossover.
Oh no kidding.
And they nailed it. I mean, when you put it next to the original Thunder Machine, you can't tell a difference unless you pick it up.
What's it going for at Ross now? How much?
$25 or something crazy.
Yeah, it's
how much?
It's mythical. It's
$35.
I have it saved on Amazon. I keep waiting for it to go on sale to pick it up.
Damn, this thing is still like hovering around the $100 mark here.
Yeah, it's worth it at $90.
I have all the other crossover stuff, but I haven't opened any of them. I open them for the carded figures, and that's about it. I don't open the carded figures. I just use them for display for my videos and stuff. But I don't have that big of a pull into Transformers. I like it. I like the idea, and like you're saying, it's like the childhood dream to have the crossover where everything's matched up and scaled up and everything.
Right.
So
absolutely, yeah,
for sure. That's what's up. But I mean, about the Dreadnoks, we have a lot of them now, right? That was the biggest thing, and we'll talk about another one later. But I mean, it's going to come with another key Dreadnok, and it's something to pose your Dreadnoks with rather than third party or Marvel Legends bikes, right? That's like the key display thing for me is you're not going to put Buzzer and Torch near the Hiss tank. You need something for those guys, and they're starting to load up. We get a lot of them now. So with Road Pig and obviously Zorana and so forth. So I think it's a key vehicle, and we know Lenny loves the Dreadnoks. He's always talking about them all the time. He talked about Road Pig for years before we even got him. So I think I think this will definitely get announced soon. Maybe not on the next fan stream on GIJoe Day, but sooner or later. Bobby?
Didn't was it Chaz the Guru's interview? Didn't he get Lenny to say something that it would be like it was already sized up and everything, like 18 inches or something like that? Didn't Lenny say something along those lines? It was like a couple years ago. But I thought Chaz the Guru interviewed Lenny at one of the Comic Cons, and he basically was like, well, the Thunder Machine isn't quite HasLab material because it's X amount of inches long, and like he had all the specs like ready to go for the question.
Well, we can look back to the comments, and Chaz, if you've got a link to that interview, put it in there.
Good call. I like that. Look at that. Doing some homework. All right. Well, you guys did a lot of homework for me, and I really appreciate it. It is time for our most anticipated action figures from the G.I. Joe Classified series for 2025. A very diverse choices we had, and of course we have choices from the Toy Kind of Mood. Shout out to Genghis, Tony, Spec, and Bobby for sure with their picks. And so upcoming now, we're going right into number 5 choice from a Toy Kind of Mood, and it is, well, here we go, Retro Cover Girl. We've got Repeater, and we've got a Target exclusive right there in the middle, even though it's blue. But yeah, Repeater, we're going to repeat that choice later on. So let's skip Repeater for now. But I'll go. I want to get the panel's thoughts on this. Adam, what's your thought on the blue Target exclusive, the Iron Grenadiers Target?
As much as I love the Iron Grenadiers as a faction, I had the Target figure as a kid, and it just didn't hit for me. I even remember back then being like, this is lame. So apologies to Tony's Figs.
I got to say, we're two things. First of all, look at Genghis's logo thrown in there on the packaging and how it fits with the color scheme. Like if you take that white stripe and make that gold, and it's perfect. And these are like this is my favorite color scheme. Throw out the white, right? You get the black, the blue, and the red. Like as a kid, I love the Target just because it's a crazy robot looking pilot drone thing. And yeah, this was like an ultimate toy as a kid though. But you don't agree?
Nah, it's just like, honestly, if they did a classified version of this, I would skip it.
All right. Well, Baldy, you're not going to skip any female G.I. Joe classified figures, that's for sure. How you feeling about blonde cover girl? And I'm sorry, Bobby, I didn't know where else to put the logo.
I'm good with blonde cover girl. I like that character. I like that a lot of people have been using that Sharon Carter head from the from that 3-pack, and yeah, it's cool. But I would love it if the Joe team does us a huge solid and makes that Iron Grenadier Target a Walmart exclusive. That would be
hilarious.
That would be
a Walmart Target exclusive. Walmart exclusive Target. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be hilarious. Abia, you with us? Nope. Looks like he's I don't know, maybe turning down the furnace. All right, I'll go back to him when he comes back. But Adam, we had one more choice from our Toy Kind of Mood friends right here, and it was Slaughter's Renegades. He just chose all 3 of them. He thinks there's going to be a 3-pack. We're getting 2 packs. We got 3 packs of Troopers. But what's the reality of getting an actual 3-pack of these, Adam? What do you think?
First and foremost, shout out to David Speck for this pick. It is a stellar pick. And I'm agreeing with him wholeheartedly on this because I have a fond memory from when I was a kid of my uncle bringing me back this pack from America. And I was like, what is this? 3 Joes in 1 pack? This is absurd. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. And Mercer was like my favorite of the lot, and I'm sure he's a lot of people's favorites. And if you've read the Skybound comics recently, you'll see how prominently featured he is. So to get him in his original sort of look, but classified up, kind of like you see in these customs, which I'm assuming are Tony's work by the looks of it, maybe, or maybe Stronach's. Whose work is that there? I don't know.
It was from the His Tank. I'm not. Actually, these are KR Customs. They're 4-inch customs. I'm not. Are you familiar with them, Bobby? KR Customs.
I'm not.
Yeah, this modern era size it was from the His Tank forum. So shout out to histank.com as well as 3djoes.com.
Yeah. But yeah, bring these on, Trav. I would, if this was a 3-pack, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Because what was the last 3-pack we got? Was it the Fire Team? Is that correct? From memory?
I think so. I think it's a 788 Fire Team. Yeah.
I think it's only been the Fire Team and the Vipers.
And the Vipers. Yeah.
Vipers. Yeah, a Viper 3-pack too as well. Bobby, you're back. I'm going to go with you and your choice at number 5. You also shared the same choice with Baldy, so I'll go to him next. But Bobby, you're up. You talked about Crystal Ball and the leaks earlier in our little pre-news segment, but now take it away.
I'm all for him. I know he's pretty kooky. He's one of those characters with like Crocmaster and all them. But in the IDW series, I think he's. Let me rephrase that. In the IDW not canon series, because someone's going to get upset in the comments. He's like this creepy cult leader kind of guy, and everything about him just weird, like some Charles Manson kind of vibes. So I'm definitely for the update. I think having a hypnotist or whatever he was back in the 80s is kind of definitely dated, and I think they could have a lot of fun just making him creepy and putting him into like the occult kind of stuff. I mean, we got that monkey paw and snake head from the early Zartan figures, so it'd be cool if they kind of incorporated that or brought it back. They got the molds, just throw them in, But definitely would love definitely liking the update from the leaked picture and everything. So I'm here for it.
And then in the interview for the Full Force, the update here is that Hasbro claims that Crystal Ball will still pay homage to that classic you see in the middle. And then you can see the leaks on either side, but he'll have an edge to him, they said. And Lenny said that they aimed to play into this whole idea of hypnotization as Cobra. Like, what are you going to make people see? How are you going to use that to your advantage? And they said that the actual hypnotizing will play into the figure itself, like messing around with people's brains and the reality around them and stuff. I thought that was really interesting in the interview, Baldy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm with Lenny, I'm with Bobby on this. I kind of want them to do the Rasputin version of this, right? That's what we got in the IDW run.
Mm-hmm.
He was more like how Rasputin was in the Russian Empire. So I think for a retro version, definitely bring back that lenticular shield. And the only thing I would request going forward, if you're going to do leaks, do something with some lotion on your hands. You know what I mean? Like, what is with all these leaks? And these guys have the worst hands I've ever seen.
Well, they're working in the factory all day, aren't they? Aren't these the guys from the factory? Yeah.
I'm just glad we got away from the 1998 Nokia camera phone. So
it's a razor. It's a razor.
I'm sorry. The 98 Motorola Razor, just a blurred picture of a figure, and you're like, I can kind of see, So
Baldy, it's interesting that you bring up the Rasputin look, because if memory serves me correctly, he had a very similar beard to you, correct? Is that right? Is that why you'd like to see that look in line?
That's right. Well, I mean, if we go back to the original design here, supposedly Stephen King and his son helped design the character, or at least pitch the character, and he's very much based on Vincent Price, which you can see right here in the artwork. So I kind of want them to continue that, because that's really cool, even though the figure itself almost looks like Sean Connery in what is that, the one where they live forever? Highlander. It's almost got that Highlander look. If he were in the Mindbender outfit, he would definitely have that like Speedo look that Sean Connery had. But yeah, keep the Rasputin, keep the Vincent Price, and they should be able to nail it.
Yeah, Baldy picking Crystal Ball, I can expect, but Bobby B, the military toy critic on YouTube, went with Crystal Ball at number 5. So things get unexpected as we go further. But here's a military guy right here. It's Pedro Pascal, aka Footloose. Sharky, you're in your top 5. How you feeling about this guy?
Yeah, look, man, another classic character. Kind of gets a little bit sort of, marginalized, I guess. Because at the end of the day, he's just basically an infantry sort of foot soldier sort of design. But yeah, happy to have him in the line. I'm all about the military look, camo all the way. Bring it on. They've modernized the helmet a little bit by the looks of it, but it still has like the foliage sort of.
Yeah, and they said in the interview they said that they played that up big. That was one of the changes they made, or updates that they made, was they played up the weathering. I almost wonder if it's gonna, what's that feel that we had on some of the, like the cap from He-Man and stuff. But what's that?
Like flocking.
Flocking.
Flocked. A flocked helmet would be something, right?
That'd be cool. My only criticism, and of course I've got one, is like they could have given him some different weaponry, like something a bit like new. That's all pretty much reuse by the looks of it. But to get him in the line, finally, it's going to shut a lot of people up, because if you see in the Facebook groups, you'll often see people say, "Where's Footloose? Where is Footloose? Why haven't I got Footloose yet? My life is over because they haven't given us Footloose."
The line's dead. The line's dead.
Everybody cut Footloose.
Well, let's hear it for the boy.
Is the line dead? Is the line dead without Footloose? B, are you excited for Pedro Footloose or what?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him. It wasn't one of the first episodes that I watched, but it's an episode that always stuck out to me. It was him and Dusty jump out of the plane in the storm, and they end up finding Destro's secret base in the cartoon, and then they get like an epic tank battle or whatever. So I always wanted him to go with Dusty, so I've always been looking forward to him. Don't care for that another different rocket launcher in the line, but it is what it is. So.
All right, next up at number 5, it's my choice. I'm going with the Night Viper. Yeah, I mean the Army builders. It was a big year for Army builders between Night Creeper and Techno Viper and some of the others, and this one has me the most excited. Maybe it's just the lighting used in these pictures, but yeah, shout out to Gridiron Studios with this loadout. Of course, Tony's Figs. But yeah, I'm excited for this guy because I like Army builders with multiple looks. I think that's why Night Creeper wound up in like my top 10 or 15 of the year, because it was 2 different looks. And here you got like, man, I don't even know. You could have 5, 6, 7, 8 different combinations between the mask and the different scopes. And he's got the helmet down look, like the green hard shell look, the typical trooper side on the right, and it's just really sharp between those greens. I don't think they're quite as neon as these pictures or whatever, but you get the lime green Cobra symbol, and you got like a dark, more forest green bouncing off the blacks. I just love the color scheme, and I think we've got so much blue and red. I think he'll really pop on the shelf. So I think this will be a big one, especially if they get the weapons and the tech right. And I think this is something that's right up Lenny's alley, and I think this will be a terrific builder for 25 for sure. All right, moving into number 4. Couple more Toy Con and Mood choices here, and we're sticking with Army builders with the other Bobby B's choice, GHG, Geeks Have Game. Shout out to him. He went with Cobra, Trench Viper, and Bunker. Before we talk about Pathfinder, I'll go to you, Bobby. What do you think of Bobby's choice?
I'm kind of excited for it. He's got the new legs, because I wasn't a fan of the other Alley Viper legs. And I believe these are the Retro Duke legs, which are phenomenal on, I want to call him Wide Scope, but I can't think of his name right now. Shockwave. So definitely good to get those and updated to the Alley Viper, who's we haven't seen for a year. We didn't get any this year. We just got the Crimson one last year. Or was that this year?
I think it was last year, mate. Yeah,
last year, yeah. So
yeah.
It's good for anyone who missed out on the Alley Vipers. And I'm curious to see what direction the not battle bunker is going to go.
Sharky, I'll go with you on Pathfinder. I mean, it's a Nissan SUV, but it's also a choice from Tony's Figs. I honestly have never even heard of this figure before. I'm not going to lie. He's a JAS. What do you think of this guy? Pretty wacky weapon that we got in there, the front blade thing.
I feel like Romo's gonna hate me by the end of this show because Pathfinder can kick rocks. I'm not a fan. Look at with his glorified weed whacker there. It's just, yeah.
Nice.
I had this figure as a kid, and it was one of those ones where after I got it, I was just like, yeah, you're going to get KIA, my friend.
Oh my god.
So yeah, sorry, Tony, but you staying on the shelf, and you got to be picking him up at Ollie's, I think.
Yeah. Ollie, get your opinions on these two, especially Pathfinder. You're the king of wacky on a toy kind of mood.
Yeah,
so
I'll,
go
I'll
right
tell you
to it.
what. Pathfinder looks like my Uncle Jackie, who was in Vietnam. That looks like when he would go outside to avoid the family and cut the yard. I don't remember this character, to be honest with you, but I'm
good.
telling
I'm
you
not alone.
that looks like Uncle
Yeah.
Jackie. And then Alley Viper, I was never a huge fan of Alley Viper, but they definitely, this is done right. I like this version. The Crimson Viper was much better than that orange one. And I had two of the orange ones, and whatever.
Yeah.
They're never on my display shelf. So this one I would put up.
That's my front and center display shelf is orange. I don't wear the color orange, but as a kid, that Alley Viper was everything, man. I'm alone on that. I know.
Top for you, huh?
Yes. I heard you. I said yes. Did you get frozen?
I heard you too.
Great. But I want to hear what the potential is for this trench bunker thing. You talk to me, Baldy, about it.
Oh, that's a porta potty. I see that lined up at the. I see that lined up at the Cold Slither concert. You know, that's where everybody goes to the bathroom. So, I'm sure in hand it's going to be pretty cool. I do like the modular design, and it's shelf friendly. It'd be cool if those spotlights had a little LED in them to light up. But that's something you can add for less than $5 on Amazon. But yeah, it's kind of cool. It's, you know, I go to a lot of concerts. I appreciate a good porta potty.
And the Dreadnought figurines will now too.
Yeah.
Adam, we're gonna go with your number 4 choice next. We talked about this also a pre-show. Frag Viper, there were some updates there in the interview, but talk about why you selected this bad boy army builder at number 4.
Okay, so again, not to sound like a broken record, but I had this as a kid, and funnily enough, as a kid, it wasn't one of my favorite army builders, but I like what they've done with this in terms of bringing it forward into the line. Just the alterations in terms of the webbing, as opposed to having all those sort of sashes, and I think they even touched on that in the interview with Chris. I think he looks more tactical, and I could live without the leg holster Uzis from Shockwave, but the mask is a more menacing looking design than the original figure, and the fact that you can remove it, and we're going to get to see what this badass looks like underneath. That's something they've never done before, so that is a big tick for me. And the I can never remember the name of the game. Hella, they played in Miami. Halai, that's the one. Yeah, Halai, that's it. Thank you. You know, they've made that bigger, and you've got what appears to be like a launching grenade, which is a nice little add-on. And I just think it pops, and it's just brought forward enough to make it a bit more appealing.
Yeah, and Bobby, you said you love when they classify the figures up. Well, they said there's this nice surprise underneath, and that Tony crush the face print, according to Lenny. Does that frighten you? Should they leave the old army builders alone, or are you excited for the change?
I'm curious to see how it'll play out. I'm wondering if they're going to go like a cybernetic kind of way or what. So I'm here for it. The only Frag Viper experience I have is the modern Arrow ones, which were like super scrawny and skinny looking. So this is definitely a breath of fresh air when I think of Frag Vipers, because I always think of those frail, skinny looking ones. They look like they're in like skin tight suits with just the sash. So seeing them all seeing like a normal sized person, I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with the head sculpt. So
Awesome. All right. Next up, Baldy Locks with the Dread Knock. It's Monkey Wrench, man. Take it away, and shout out to Tony's Figs. We use a lot of your customs on this display here.
Yeah, I think I'm like most people. I'm a huge Dreadnought fan. I remember when Monkey Wrench first came out, it was like, oh, finally we got another Dreadnought. And that pitchfork kind of thing at the end of his gun there was always unique and fun. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm hoping that we get it soon and that they do it right. It's hard for them to kind of top what Tony did here. But I would like a modern take on it. I want them to go back to the removable sunglasses. I know a lot of people kind of bitch about the sunglasses not staying on, but you know, a little bit of warm water, a little bit of putty will keep that on if it doesn't stay on for you. I don't like that they moved away from it with torch because the consistency. You know,
let's take a poll then. Sharky, glasses or no? I mean, permanent glasses, molded on, or should they be separate?
If they can do them in a way where we don't have to go to the lengths that like Zen's talking about, you know, and repeatedly do that, then yes, like allow them to be removable. Because like if you look back to Ripper where they gave him that glass eye, those little touches we never had before. So they are like a little chef's kiss, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm all about them. But you know, if you need to sticky tack them on, then so be it. You know, it is what it is.
Bobby, I don't remember. I definitely watched your review of Torch, but I don't remember. Did you love the fact that they were molded on, or do you miss like not knowing what he looks like underneath?
I'd prefer to. I'd probably say I'd lean more towards the sculpted glasses opposed to removable glasses, and then I'd base it off of how often those characters go without their glasses. Now, like Adam was saying with Ripper's glass eye and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess there's like a time and place for everything, but I think if they're in the comics or cartoon and they're always in their glasses, just leave them on. Like I'll use Wild Bill for example. His glasses are like almost there, almost at that like perfect level, but they don't. You know, you got to work them a little bit to get them where you want them. But how often does Wild Bill not have his glasses on in the comics or cartoon? And then we didn't get like a flight helmet with like the visor and everything for him. So I don't think he should have had removable glasses, but like I said, I guess it would just depend on each person and the situation. So
in a perfect world, we get one of each, but you know, cost, budget, all that crap, right? We get one molded on glasses, one without. That's it. But you know, that's probably not going to happen. But moving on to, man, it's all baddies here at number 4. We got Pythona here, and a lot of folks picked this, including myself. It looked like we got Toy Optics and Black Genghis, so 3 out of the 6 of Toy Kind of Moodians. And shout to Marauder Rubin with his awesome custom on the left with Nemesis Immortal, and then you get the Skybound version there, and we'll talk about that in a little while, and then the retro version. But yeah, I just thought this was a great choice from a Toy Kind of Mood, my friends, and I was like, yeah, let's keep it coming. Maybe once we got Nemesis Immortal and Once a Man Cobra Commander, it's like, yeah, let's keep the whole Cobra la 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 thing going. I mean, that's pretty much all I'm going with. I mean, I'm kind of jealous of Ruben's custom so much. I just want the real thing at this point. I can't wait any further. Baldy, are you excited for Pythona or what?
Well, you know, you guys know how I feel about Cobra La. As far as like we finally get a figure of her, I didn't know they did this GIJoe exclusive figure of her, and that's pretty badass. And so many people love the movie, right? That's when GIJoe jumped the shark for me, but they did nail it the way they're doing it in the Energon universe. I do like how they brought the characters in, and they're a lot of fun. But it is hard to top what Ruben did. You know, Marauder Rubin did this. It's a Ghostbusters body there. It's who's the destroyer? Why can't I think of it?
Zool.
Yeah,
Zool, yeah.
that's the body of Zool, and then he's got the Star Wars head on top. But that's almost perfect. So
Yeah,
I'd be
good.
curious how they do it. I would have liked if they updated Cobra La like a modern, quiet task force and didn't lean into the actual storytelling from the movie. But they didn't go that way. They're going to what they've historically done.
Well, they also threw hints of stuff from the Energon universe with Nemesis Immortal, so that could be a way that they go. And we'll talk about that Energon and Skybound in a little bit. But first, Bobby B has his number 4 choice, and you just put any Destro that wasn't Iron Grenadiers Destro. So I put like a bunch of them here, and you could just tell me which one, or is it because of that you want vac metal, or what? Well, what's up with this choice?
I think as far as getting like the reissues of some of the older characters, Destro is due for an upgrade. But the Iron Grenadier Destro, he's got to be down the pipe. We know he's coming, but I just want something different, something we haven't seen before. Well, to an extent, from that classic Destro look. We just had the Destro Dark Energon universe comic, and he's in a different outfit almost every issue. So I'd just like to see something different from him, or at least a more of an update or upgrade to the figure we've already gotten twice. So
Yep, for sure. Adam, do you think it's time for a Destro update besides the IG one?
I mean, I'm a big fan of Destro. I have him tattooed on my arm, so there's a good indicator of that. But like Bobby alluded to something earlier that I think is a salient point here, is that we haven't had as many Arctic figures. You've got like the Arctic bats, so an Arctic Destro, which would lean into sort of the Pursuit of Cobra style, would be a nice touch. But yeah, like I like Destro. Bring on any Destro. I'm with Bobby on that front.
Right. And I've got this Red Shadows t-shirt here. So shout out to Skeletron, my homies there. Go to T Public and you can grab some merch from them. But we see Red Jackal here, right? And Super 7 did one. And you know, there's other toy lines mixing in with Red Shadow stuff, but this would be my choice. I think now that we've gotten Quarrel. I know I loved the comments in my 2-pack video, and thanks everyone for watching. They actually did really well. People were like, she's not the first British GI Joe. No, I was like, no, Big Ben is, sure, you're right. She's the first British Action Force character that they moved over from there, from the Palatoy era. And so now it's open to see more Palatoy figures. And I think we could, I mean, Bobby, do you think we have potential to get a Red Jackal and more of these Palatoy Action Force turned Joe characters, or what?
Absolutely. And like you're saying, especially with Coral being brought over from there, being introduced in the line, and easy repaint from Scarlet. We got an easy repaint from the regular Destro. I'd love to get him pinless or a little more beefier and off those legs that he's on, because they're not that great. But I think it would be much needed. So.
And I'll just go down the line. Baldy, are you familiar with much of the British Action Force Red Shadows? I know we just got those deluxe hardcovers from Brian Hickey and stuff. And so, I mean, the British invasion started last year and could continue in 2025, or what?
It could. I think this is a good variant, or like, you know how McFarlane does the variants. If you were to get like a Red Jackal like that, or if it was just offered on Pulse, because if you look at like a Super 7 version, I think they had a Red Jackal out there.
Yeah, that's what this
is.
Out
on the shelves, because
I think it was
our fandom is I think we can all agree that our fandom has a lot of vocal minority that whines a lot. So it's not my Destro. You know what I mean? So if they get the Red Jackal version, I don't want this stuff to go to clearance. I don't want it to go to Ross. I want the line to continue. So offer this on Pulse.
Pulse is smart. Or like a BBTS exclusive would be even great, or something like that, because they do a lot of Operation Monster Force, a lot of Super 7 sales. So I think they have that built-in audience. Doesn't necessarily always have to be Pulse. If some of the fan channels have very hardcore collector buyers there too,
Yeah, give us a suited version. Give us a 3-pack with the suited twins, and we're good.
There you
Oh,
go.
look at
And
that.
we'll talk about that a little later on. There's a tease. But all right, cool. So moving on from Destro, and it's top 3 time. We're gonna go with Toy Con and Mood in the top 3 first, their first choices. And it looks like we got Genghis, Tony, and Specs choices. We got Hardball, and then we got the Iron Grenadiers Destro right there. So there's a little bit of a segue. Spec has him in his top 3, so he's real excited about that cape we're gonna get from the Twilight Guard, isn't he? And then we got Recoil on the right. Bobby, I'll go with you for Recoil.
Him. Who's the other guy? Pathfinder and Muskrat always seem like the same 3 figures to me. So, I don't know anything about this guy, so I'm not too familiar with him. How does everyone else feel about him, I guess?
I'll take the floor. I'm all about Recall. I'm with Tony on this one, and he's a LERP trooper. I had him as a kid. I liked his digi camo as a kid. His blue weapons are a bit naff. If they change the color on those, I'd be even more for it. Make them like gray or something like that, because that very ostentatious M4 with the M203 with the bayonet attached is glorious. And whatever that other thing is, I don't know, but I kind of dig it. And I think he, in a classified version, I think they could really sort of, make him pop. So yeah, I'm all about Recall.
Nice. Looks like Baldy Locks went to the bathroom too. I'll go to
looking up Recoil.
I didn't go to the bathroom.
well, I did. Those things happen even if you're not live, but I don't feel like editing this thing. So, Baldy, anyway, talk to me about Hardball.
Hardball, was that one of my choices? Because
no, this is Genghis's. We're just talking about the ATKM family choices here, our honorable mention kind of thing.
Hardball, dude, I remember my cousin loved this. He was a huge Phillies fan, so like he loved it because it had to do with baseball, but I never got into Hardball.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan. Recoil, I don't really remember. But I do have I disagree with Bobby B here, and I do like that Destro. I still have him.
I'm not saying I don't like Iron Grenadier.
Yeah, that's what you said. Let's just that's what you said. You said it in a very monotone way.
Oh,
okay.
You're gonna join that group. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do want to mention that custom was done by Chad Santo. So I do want to give credit to people who, when I throw their customs on there. Otherwise, I'll be the next, you know what island. They are
that guy.
Yeah, moving on from that. Number 3, Bobby B, you picked 3 characters for number 3. So kind of fitting there.
Yeah, the Stahl family, Bomb Strike, Barrel Roll, and Blackout, 2 Joes, 1 Cobra. They're all siblings. They scream classified in my opinion. Cobra Sniper, high altitude sniper, and then I don't really know what Bomb Strike's specialty is, but they scream classified. I think they'd be perfect fit for it. And they're it's just one of those, we can go back to that 3-pack thing we were talking about earlier where, drop them in the 3-pack. So
It's a great picture.
Yeah, these are from Nighthawk on the His Tank forums. And then the interesting thing about this family is that they're named after Dwight Stahl, the Marvel Legends designer. Dwight E. Stahl, you got Thomas E. Stahl and Alyssa Renee Stahl. I don't know if that's his wife or whatever, and that Thomas could be his dad, a brother, son. I don't know, but it was interesting that we got the Stahl name. And there's Hasbro has always paid homages to. Obviously, we've gotten was it Tunnel Rat as Larry Hama and so forth. Leatherneck as Ron Rudat and Kurt Bazzigian is Law and Order. So yeah, it kind of makes sense to pay homage. It would be interesting if they actually had Dwight's face sculpt, a younger version of him on here. But I do think the family is interesting. But looking at it, it does kind of remind me of Operation Blackout, the first GI Joe figures. Adam, how do you feel about this repack, and do you like B's choice here?
These choices of Bobby's are very indicative of Bobby's age as opposed to the rest of us. And so I gotta rate his choices just on that fact alone.
Yeah.
When these characters sort of became a thing, I was pretty much out of the line. But yeah, look, man, you know, these are going to appeal to that demographic, and you know, Joe spans many years, so getting everyone's favorites in is something that I think Lenny and Tony and the team are very sort of cognizant of. So, you know, bring it on. I'm all for it.
I
Yeah,
had high
Bobby-
hopes after Kamakura came around, so I was hoping we'd see more newer characters. But it's been
because we got what
slow burn.
Shadow Tracker wasn't one, and
Yeah,
then
Shadow Tracker.
Shooter was, even though she's a homage to the OG-13, she's part of the newer
Yeah.
age of comics and stuff, right? So, but I want you to, wanted you to be able to follow up on this because you also mentioned GI Joe versus Cobra and Spy Troops era as well.
Yeah, and like the I know Blackout and Barrel Roll because my dog actually ate my barrel roll when I was a kid. Those were Spy Troops, and I think Barrel Roll came with a glider, so that'd be a good reuse of the Fang. So they could keep it going.
Good call there. All right, Adam, you're up next. Your number 3 choice. And it looks like, oh, Baldy again. Oh, I have them mixed up here. Okay, we'll go to you then right away. Well, wetsuit.
Yep. In his classic look, sure, bring it on. And I didn't stipulate this when you were asking for our picks, Trav, but I thought about it after the fact. And as much as I would love the classic wetsuit, I would really love to see him in his, like, you know, SEAL team sort of camo.
Mission Brazil.
Yeah, Mission Brazil gear. Bring that on. But yeah, like, you can't have Torpedo without having this guy. So, and they've sort of lent into it already with the diver, you know, the propulsion unit and stuff. You probably see the reuse of that with this, I'd imagine. I don't know if they do some new tooling. But give the man some weaponry, all right? Because that is the one shortcoming that this figure has as an original release.
That's probably why I didn't have it as a kid. I was like, he's just a diver. But then honestly, as an adult, and especially looking at that trading card, I'm like, he could be an incredibly badass looking classified figure if done right. You know, like just looking at the face and like his forearm muscles and just the way they did the fins, he's definitely classified up. And I love how your logo is right in the water. Like you're actually fighting right now. Shark Guy's Toy View versus his own choice. I love it.
It's a nice touch. That's a nice touch.
It's not too bad. All right, we spoiled the last pick, but we'll go right to you, Baldy. It's heavy duty.
Yeah, I just think this is a fun figure. You know, it's ridiculous. His gear that he comes with. I like how they updated it so that it could kind of be like a standalone, maybe drone type of piece, something remote controlled. But yeah, I think it's a good answer to Roadblock. You know, you can't just have one African American character and just keep repackaging him. So I think it's kind of cool that they're opening it up to some other characters that we've gotten. And his arms look incredible. He looks like how you pictured the character. And I kind of like that. It almost looks like he's got almost a time error correct flat top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this guy is hip hop for sure. He's got the backwards neon hat. He's definitely 80s, 90s hip hop, I should say.
Absolutely. So he looks like fun.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, throw in like a chain. He's got like the, you know, I like the monocle. He's got, you know, the walkie eye, you know, the, what was it, like a infrared kind of scope glasses there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's dope. He's super dope. Yeah, I think you said it right with he comes with like pretty much a pet, right? It's just a pet drone, basically. And then, you know, he could put the whole kitchen counter right on and blow things away. So I'm usually not a fan of putting retail figures in these lists because I try to be a little more creative than something we already for sure know or pre-ordered. But this guy is a knockout. I mean, heavy duty. I was like, this guy's potential to be figure of the year. He's that good. And I'm super excited for him. I mean, I think at this point we know he's coming. So Adam, I'll just go to you, heavy duty. Are you as excited as Baldy and I?
Yeah, look, when this was first announced, I was just like, yeah, whatever. But once I saw the images, I was like, yeah, I'm fucking sold on this. But simply because I love the fact that you, without like all the assembly, the rocket assembly and stuff like that, he looks like a soldier. And you can take off one of the rocket pods and have him hold it, and it looks like Arnie in Commando. And that's just dope as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, bring it on.
And then Bobby, what's your feelings on heavy duty?
I'm really liking him. I don't care too much for the whole get up that he's got, but like Adam was saying with the rocket launcher, he looks awesome. And heavy duty is one of the first figures I got, but he was the one with like the bandana and just the regular combat uniform. But I mean, looking at him just next to the whatever that device is called, he just looks menacing. So he looks awesome. So pretty excited for him.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big. What is it? Rocket missile?
No, the rocket desk.
Rocket desk. Yeah.
Rocket desk. Yeah. Missile sync. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of any figures they come out with where you can have just multiple looks, multiple ways to display them, and it's not just a guy with a gun and a helmet. You know what I mean? So they just because it just shows how much love and effort they put into these figures that they're selling at retail by the billions, right? Like hundreds and thousands of figures they're making. It's not just like they can take their time and it's an independent studio and they can sell it direct or something. This is like a mass produced thing, and they're adding all these little intricacies and efforts, like little tiny things that really shows that they love what they do for sure. All right, top two, we'll get into there. We did that one. ATKM time. We got Tony's Figs mainframe. So he picked a figure he did an amazing custom of there. We've got GHG, the other Bobby, picking Snake Eyes V4, which we had mentioned earlier as a retro figure that we're seeing. It's officially announced. And then we got what is this? Salvo from Black Genghis, I believe. Yeah, another. Bobby, are you familiar with Salvo?
I am because of this figure, but I don't know what time period he's from or what era or whatever. But I'm familiar with the figure subscription figure. So,
Adam, you were saying?
I think he's a 90s release from memory. I want to say 99, 91.
Baldy, I have to go to you about Salvo, man. Salvo Regina.
I don't know who this guy is.
I don't feel so bad now being like, I have no idea.
No, I think it's cool. Again, I think maybe Adam touched on it and Bobby did as well. You had so many generational pools that you can get these characters from. I kind of think they missed the mark with the 60th anniversary figures that we didn't get the original soldier heads. You know what I mean? But they're touching different generations. So I don't know this character, but somebody does, including KJ. And you're going to make some fanboy happy with this release. So yeah, go for it.
And no shocker here, Adam has Robert Bear from GHG and a Toy Kind of Mood. He's always picking Scarlet. He's always picking Snake Eyes. I mean, Duke, and now he's got Snake Eyes. But are you a fan of version 4, the blue one, the blue Snake Eyes?
I'm a Snake Eyes fanboy, so I'm right there with Bobby on this one. Although not my favorite Snake Eyes release, I do like it a lot. And we've known for a while that this has been coming because Lenny sort of sneak previewed it in. I think it was in another video chat with Chris at some point.
I think it was with us.
Was you guys actually? I think it was you guys. That's right. Yeah. Where he had the figure. So, look, it'll be good. Just maybe not neon sort of red, orangey weapons. Maybe.
Yes. Well, we got we didn't get the right. As another guy who reviews Star Wars figures, Bobby, we didn't get the right color blades with some of the newer figures from Ahsoka. But what are you thinking of the weapon scheme that we could get from V4 Snake Eye?
I think it's one of those losing battles, whether you do them regular, if you make them red. If you don't make them red, you're gonna have all the fanboys cry out. If you do make them red, you're gonna have like people like me be like, "Why the hell would I buy this figure?" So
Yeah.
I think they can find a way to incorporate it somehow with the weapons, like do the black weapons, red handles, stuff like that, or I think they could have a lot of fun with the sword too, or just include a regular black sword and regular red sword. So
Gotcha.
no spring weapons though. I don't care much for spring weapons.
Nice. Yeah, none of those. All right, cool. All right, Baldy, we're going to you for number 2. And you hate the Rattler, but you love the Rattler pilot, Wild Weasel.
Yeah, man. I remember trading a couple bats for this guy when I was a kid. And I think they were broken. One of them was missing the lenticular shield. So I thought it was a fair trade. And I got somebody that I didn't get with my hand-me-down Rattler. So it helped me complete that. Yeah, I think he's a cool character. I like the update they did. He fits the part for the Rattler. He looks pretty cool. So I'm excited for this for sure. And the fact that he's coming with the Rattler. You know what I mean? I have no problem with characters being stuck behind a paywall. If they're part of an exclusive, they're part of an exclusive.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to get everything. You guys need to knock that shit off.
Hell yeah, brother.
But I want it now.
But Bobby, if he's the pilot, then he has to come with the plane. I mean, period, right? Like Clutch is the driver of the Vamp, and if they're going to include figures with all these vehicles,
yeah,
it's just what we're going to get. Are you excited about the direction they went with on Weasel?
Yeah, I really like him. And like Baldy was saying, he's one of my more favorite characters. I got the Toys R Us Rattler when I was a kid, like the bronze orange one. So I was and I wanted a Rattler, before the Dragonfly. So I was all for it. I actually backed the Robo Skull Skeletron for the Wild Weasel figure. I didn't get the vehicle. I just did the figures. So definitely the Red Weasel, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
so
Red Weasel. Yeah.
Looking forward to him, and definitely looking forward to the actual classified Wild Weasel. So
yeah, it'll be fun to have Wild Weasel and his stand-in. They'll have to have a battle, so that'll be a good time. And look, Adam, I mean, I don't know if you saw the rankings you watched us live last week, and there was a lot of love for the HasLab figures in our top 5s. So it's crazy that we're getting these figures behind a paywall and they're winding up in our top 5 of the year. I mean, I think 3 out of the 4 landed in our top 5, and there was some honorary love for even Crazy Legs. So it was like all 4 figures were more or less well received in the community, and then especially from a Toy Kind of Mood and our favorites of the year, which is mind blowing to think, right?
Yeah, look, I wish I could speak more to those figures because I only just had my Dragonfly arrive like 3 days ago or something like that, and I haven't opened it yet. That's going to be like a Christmas Day thing, I think. But yeah, look, it makes sense. One of the biggest appeals of the Dragonfly for me anyway was the figures. Don't get me wrong, the vehicle's no doubt going to be amazing, but I like the selection, and that was something that differed with the selection that came with the Rattler. So when those are baked into such a project, they really sort of have to hit the mark for me. And giving us Night Force versions of that was like a big tick. So I'm looking forward to opening those up and seeing how they measure up to all your picks from last week.
Awesome, dude. Bobby, your choice, you put the last legacy figure. Now, I was going to follow up and ask you, what the hell does that mean? But I'm just going to throw this on the screen and you can talk about this and then what the hell you meant by the last legacy figure.
So I think the rumor is that we got the firefighter and somebody else coming along the lines. Whether that last figure is going to be some kind of medic or EMT with some doc gear, or if we're going to get a SWAT type figure with the with Order from Law and Order. I'm just looking forward to see what they do. I've enjoyed the last 4. I look forward to the firefighter, because the paratrooper, the halo jumper, he was awesome, and then the marine sniper was also pretty solid. So, and then obviously we got the diver and the action soldier. So very curious to what that last figure is going to be, what route they're going to take, if they're going to keep with the first responders, whether it be a law enforcement officer of some type. It'd be an easy cash grab if they did just like a SWAT figure and made him look good, and then gave him the dog or gave him the riot shield, stuff like that. Same with they did like an EMT that could be troop built in a way, or a medic or a nurse or whatever you want to call it. And then I think, what if they go adventure team? So if they go something along those lines and, curse the dragon emperor or whatever the hell you want to do. So everyone's hyped up on that Great Circle game right now. So I'm pretty sure they can bank off that.
When you said the last legacy figure, I took it as like you want no more.
Oh,
like
no,
the last one.
I'm all for it.
It's the top of my list because I hope it's the last one. That's the way you worded it. I was like, oh man, this is like a Baldy type choice from Bobby B. So we're gonna go right at it. But
I was thinking he meant he had some insider info, like this is it. They're not doing the legacy figures anymore.
Oh, he might.
No. I'm all for the legacy. I wouldn't mind if they went down that adventure team rabbit hole, or just to get something. Because when we get the polar bear coming with Mass Device Snake Eyes, so I'd be curious to see if we get like a, that I'm pretty sure there was an adventure team set with the polar bear. So it's easy reuse. Yeah. Hasbro's got to get that money. We know Hasbro wants that money. So
future proofing for sure. Adam, what's your take on the legacy line and continuing that 60th for 2025?
Yeah, look, I think they've pivoted well, like in terms of carrying it over and calling it the legacy line. And I'm with Bobby. I'm all for it. My only issue with the fireman that we see here is he doesn't have a hose, and I know we don't have a fire truck to go with him. But how's he going to fight a fire? You're going to just blow it out. But it's still cool. It's still cool. And I'm just playing. It's all good.
Yeah, I got you.
But it'll be interesting to see what else they deliver on that front, which direction they'll go.
Well, stick with you here. You weren't playing around with your number 2 choice because you went with the big bad of 25, I think, for the classified line, and that's Dark Lawn, man.
Yep. A controversial pick, I'm sure, because you either love or hate Dark Lawn, and I am in camp love. I got Dark Lawn as a kid with his vehicle. I'm a little disappointed we're not getting the vehicle, but that's okay. He's still going to come with that big ass minigun thing. If you're reading the Skybound comics, you'll see that he's featured quite a bit, and we've gotten a little background on how he came to be and how he got his mask and stuff. And I'm all about this release. I can't wait for it. And if you don't like Dark Lawn, then go argue with your mother.
I also, and it looks like Toy Optics as well, I also chose this as number 2, I think, because last year at number 2 I had like Iron Claw or something, and that never happened. So I was like, all right, I'll pick another big bad that's similar. And I also want to shout out the Armored Cobra Commander. I didn't want to pick him again because I picked him last year, but that's generally probably the next big version. We got all the other Cobra Commanders now at this point, Once a Man and Vac Metal and all that. So I think it would be nice to get Armored Cobra Commander. But this guy, just like the jungle looking torso, he looks great from the leaks. I think they got the gun right. I mean, it's right on the money. There's no need to oh yeah, that's one of the issues they could have for sure. But it looks by the legs. Are those like Mindbender's boots from that we got with Torch on the knee caps, or looks similar?
I would say no, because they got that looks like knife sheath on the left leg and the whatever is going on that right leg.
Yeah. Okay. Good call. Yeah. Good call there. Unless that's like just molded on.
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
So we have a little bit of a
little bit like the twins, maybe.
Okay.
We haven't seen that sword before, have we? That's new, right?
No, that's new as well. Yeah. The dagger actually looks new too. And we got the revolver from Wild Bill. Or no, those are not. No, those Wild Bills was 6-shooters. Those are short.
Yeah,
That's a shorter
it looks
revolver.
more like a snub nose 38
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's from Tunnel Rat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, a lot of newness though, for sure. And the sword is interesting. Thinking about the future possibilities. But I'm interested in the face sculpt because we have seen his face a lot in Skybound. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, kind of a theme with my choices is the different looks. And I think
Did they
Dark
say
Lawn.
that he's not going to have his mask on, or come with a mask and a head, or we don't know
They
yet?
just did a name only for Dark Lawn. They haven't
Okay.
talked about him yet. Yeah. He was probably off the full force couldn't ask about Dark Lawn because they asked about everyone else. So we didn't get any tidbits on this guy unless I completely missed it. But yeah, Toy Optics, myself and Sharky all went with number 2. And now I think that our number 1 choice is next. Yeah, for sure. Number 1 choice. And we mentioned him earlier, Kurt Bazigian likeness back in the day, but no longer in the classified line. Tony's Figs and Bobby Bear and Toy Optics all went with Law and Order number 1. They're probably going to give me crap because I think some of them put it at number 2, but whatever. We're all going to talk about it now. Bobby, what's your excitement for the MP?
Oh, you guys know I'm all about the MPs. I'm looking forward to them. I would have preferred the Renegades version first and then this one down the line because I just like the modernized color scheme of the Renegades version, but I'm here for it. Seeing Order with the goggles and the vest and the collar and everything looks awesome. So I think they did great. The only complaint I have from the, I guess, leaked pictures is that his brassard, that stripe on his sleeve, says MP and then it says like K9, or it says it's all spelled out and all crunched together instead of just being an MP. So that's probably the only super negative thing I have to say.
Okay, cool. Baldy, what's your feeling on the Law and Order here?
I mean, it looks fun. Definitely, the dog looks amazing.
Yeah.
I think they really nail it with the animals. So I know a lot of people say we don't need the animals, but the animals are very much characters as well.
Yeah.
And they nailed this here. I'm going to go with Bobby on this. I would have liked the more updated modern look, but we'll see. I don't know if this is a final product or not, but we'll see what they end up doing.
And then yeah, Adam, I'll let you get in on this one. It's the number 1 choice from Tony, GHG, and Toy Optics. So how you feeling about Law and Order in these leaks?
Yeah, good picks from the boys. Law and Order has always been a favourite of mine. I just wanted to say, Trav, that German Shepherds come in all different sizes. And a lot of people I've seen struggle with this design here and saying it doesn't look enough like a German Shepherd. They're not all the same, guys. As someone who works with dogs, take it from authority on the topic, okay? They can look different. Make your peace with it. It's fine, okay? It's fine. That is all.
Love that. All right, one more pick from a toy kind of mood, and it's Genghis. We told you we'd repeat ourselves about Repeater, and here he is, the Steadicam machine gunner. Maybe that has something to do with Genghis doing some production back in the day in Hollywood. Got to go with the Steadicam, man, even though that would be a great choice for Toy Optics, seeing how he's a real-life Hollywood cameraman. But I don't know about this guy, Baldy. Help me out with Repeater. I mean, some of these picks from Genghis are pretty out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you that they're out there. I don't really.
I mean, they're good. They're just like very deep cut, right?
That's a deep cut. I think I saw this on 3D Joe's or maybe in the Omnibus, but I don't remember this figure. Like I feel like somebody's retconning my history with GIJoe. I don't remember this figure, which is fine. But KJ remembers him and made him number 1. He looks like I hope they do a big buck. He looks like he's a big guy. So I hope they do it right. But yeah, he looks fun. I want to see it. I want to see what they do.
Yeah. B, do you have any familiarization with the Repeater?
I had the Rise of Cobra version, I guess, it was like in a Toys R Us or Kmart 5-pack, I think. So
Is
I didn't
that
know
the one on the left? Is that the one on the left?
I think that one's the figure subscription service one.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So yeah, Steadicam Gunner. I think he might be another Marine, and with a Leathernecks hat and everything, I'm sure we could see some of that reuse worked its way, especially since we just got or we're getting Saw Viper. He's on the way, whatever you want to call it. So we're seeing a lot of that different style weaponry work its way into the line, and I'm sure that he could be right behind him. I mean, he seems like he could be pieced together pretty well. I don't know if they'd use the bigger buck or not, so I'm curious to see what route they would take if they were to jump into Repeater.
Mm-hmm. And then Shark Eyes, any thoughts on Repeater at all?
Yeah, like I was still collecting when he originally came out, and I dug the figure. Obviously, you know, the Steadicam gun, being a big fan of Aliens, that was, you know, a nice homage to that. And yeah, bring it on. I think, again, digital camo works in the classified line, and keeping him, you know, with the sort of old school sort of military aesthetic as well. As we saw with heavy duty, they can do exactly that. So I think it would translate well, very much so.
Great. All right. Mass device time, Bobby. I think either Bobby or Baldy. Let's see which one this is. Coming up here. All right. It's Bobby. We talked about, or we showed mainframe, but it looks like Breaker's your communications diva of choice.
Yeah, I like that. I love that grunt figure. So seeing his stuff get reused or basically just repainted with a different head, I'm for it. Where Breaker's a figure from 2021, so he could definitely use an update. I know that some people like the way he looked. Some people said he was the Jake Gyllenhaal or whatever. So I'm here for it. The T's Mass Device and that gray outfit screams his Sunbow look kind of. So I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm. And then, what's your thoughts on just the Mass Device line itself? I mean, we're going to talk about the next figure that's been released, but just just an overall thought on the way they're on just this wave and their planning for it.
I like the idea of it. I've been asking for smaller dios before bigger vehicles. In my opinion, I think those would be better off, like an outpost defender. The amount of outpost defenders I would buy is through the roof. I'd probably buy at least 10 and then probably bury a few in my backyard just to have them all roughed up and dirty. But and I have the 25th anniversary Mass Device, and it's a fun set piece. I used it with the Haya Cobra Commander not too long ago on my Instagram, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to have in classified. Even if they pieced it together, kind of like they did with the DVD sets for the 25th anniversary one, I think it'd be a lot of fun to try to track down or get all the pieces together and get it displayed. So,
Mm-hmm. And then Adam, same thing. Your thoughts on just Mass Device, this kind of segmented wave, specialty wave?
Yeah, I like the idea, even if it is recycled somewhat from like the 25th line. I missed out on a lot of that stuff with the 25th line. It just wasn't readily available here in Australia.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
to have another opportunity at getting that stuff and having that set would be cool, especially with the tweaks that Lenny and Co. are going to be doing. We've already seen that, which we'll touch on in the upcoming pack, I'm sure. But even this Breaker, excuse me, in that sort of cartoon look would be tip top, because it's not something we've seen a lot of. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Cool. All right. And then let's just get right into it. Bobby, you had the Mass Device figure at number 1. It's Snake Eyes and the polar bear.
We said Bobby, but it's Baldy.
I meant Baldy. Yeah. Well, it's because Bobby messaged me like, hey, I got to go. So I'm getting all you guys confused. So just run through it. Your number 1 choice, man.
No, it's this is a fun set. Again, it goes with that whole Mass Device thing. Lines usually only last for 5 years, and other than Marvel Legends, it's just going on 20-something years. Yeah, to keep the line going, you got to start introducing new elements. So I'm fine if they start introducing Build a Diorama or whatever it might be. And this polar bear really sells it for me. I mean, it's fun that we're getting this crazy Snake Eyes with the radiation hands. But I love this polar bear. I got my Coca-Cola ready. So this is going to be a fun set for sure.
Yeah. And just quick thoughts. Adam on the set?
9 inches of polar bear, fellas. That's what we're getting. And look at that thing. When it's going to be standing up on its back legs, it's going to be glorious. Bring it on. Bring it on.
And B, it looks like we're going to have a surprise under the battle damage piece they said in that interview with Chris. Probably just the polar meat, if you will. And then this will have a unique price point, they did point out, because it's much larger pet than usual. As Sharky mentioned, it's 9 inches long.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty fun. That in the Radiation Snake Eyes, the 25th version, or there was a 25th version that was also like radiated with orange instead of like the pink. So it's a fun, and I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. You could have 100 Snake Eyes, sure, cool, but when you start like doing a battle damage or something like that or something different, and I like to pick up that stuff in my collection. Not so much a variant, but just something different than the normal version. So getting a radiated Snake Eyes, I think, would be a lot of fun.
I hope those hands glow in the dark.
That'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be great.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. And you know what would be cool? Another wave in addition to Mass Device. Right, Adam? We both went with the Skybound Energon universe as our number one. Just the whole universe. We're just that cool. We just pick a whole year. We don't pick one figure. We don't pick one figure with one figure with pet. We don't pick a 3-pack. We pick an entire universe, the Energon universe. And you know what? But before we go there, I gotta let Bobby B go because he was on a tight window, and we can dive right into that universe. And Bobby said he wasn't following it anyway. Is that true?
No, I'm following. I haven't read them yet, but I've read Duke, Cobra Commander, Scarlet, and Destro. I picked up
okay.
GIJoe 1. I haven't picked up 2 yet because it came out. I've been, like I said,
you're pretty close. You had made a comment earlier about something about with Skybound and Energon. Not that I forgot what it was, but it was
the Destro's reading in a different outfit in every issue.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Cool.
So
there you go. But I want to showcase your social media real quick, and let's see if we can do it here. Yeah, we got that. Cool. But yeah, man, I wanted to thank you for being on the show, dude, and hanging out during the holidays and talking about your most anticipated stuff. Thanks so much for
having
hanging
me
out.
Hope everyone has a good holiday season. Happy New Year. It's a great time to be a collector, no matter what you collect, whether it's Monster Force or the Red Skull or Robo Skull figures, Legends, Black Series, you name it. It's a great time to be a collector. So thanks for having me. Till next time, load up, grab your kits. See you guys in the Battlegrounds.
That's right, Bobby. Hey, thanks so much. Take care, buddy. You have a happy holiday. And of course, you could find Bobby. If you're watching this, you more than likely have watched his reviews. But if not, B's Battlegrounds on YouTube that we just showed, and go follow him on Instagram at B's Battlegrounds on IG, and he's got some awesome photography there. There's a picture of Larry Neck right there on the left, so that's all good and fun and cool. And we'll cut to Adam's social media in a little bit, but before that, we got to talk about Energon, man. I'll just let you take the reins here.
Yeah, man. Look, I've thoroughly enjoyed these comics, like a lot of people have been enjoying them, and they're a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways. And I feel like the classified line, as glorious and as great as it is, and as fun as we all have with it, I think it's going to get to a point where it's going to run out of steam. And Baldy even touched on that. Like, the average length of a line is like 5 years. And to keep a line fresh, you need to bring in stuff that we haven't seen before that is also going to appeal to people who may only just be reading the comics and haven't even collected the toys. You know what I mean? So switching things up and giving us new looks of classic characters is one thing, but then there's new factions that are being presented and new elements that are being presented in these comics that they could really delve into. Perfect example, I think I even gave you, Trav, was like Major Blood's Bloodhounds. And what's her name there? The chick in the middle?
Chameleon. You're going to get us canceled for saying chick. No, but who's this beautiful, lovely young lady? in the
Yeah,
middle,
this
and
lovely lady, this chick.
it's this wonderful chick. But yeah, no, we love her. But yeah, there's also another look for a cover girl there. But yeah, Chameleon has been around a little bit in the Joes, and I think maybe even Bobby would have been able to help us out with that, more of a
Yeah.
modern era.
Yep.
Do you have any history of Chameleon, or is she new to you through the Energon world?
No, she has been. I think you're right. I think she has been around. I think since like that early 2000s sort of era. I think
The modern era, Rise of
Velvet-
Cobra and Pursuit of Cobra and all that. Yeah,
I think pre that. I think it might have been like Velvet versus Venom. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, like that's a figure that's going to look great in classified.
you got that Baroness that, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone would cop. I mean, especially if she's got the shiny metal torso and the sky blue. I mean, this is good girl Baroness. That's something like we've never ever had. I mean, yeah.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. You know, we could even get like the twins in their like suited attire. You know, that's something we haven't
also look at the attire on Tomex and Xamot. It's opposite colors, isn't it? Almost in a way. It's like, or it's like it's like a little bit different shading. And I'm not exactly sure about that, but yeah, I'm almost like looking it up right now to see. And yeah, their outfits were all blue with red sash.
Yep.
And then what we got here is like red outfits with the blue sash. So yeah, it's like the opposite there. So it does have a red sash above the blue. It does, just the way this is looked. It's kind of it's a little different. Yeah, and then you got, these are classified designs, and obviously Duke looks different because we got the retro version. This is different than the video game inspired look, but Stalker and Clutch do look very similar. And then we got the bearded Duke from Duke #1. Well, I believe he was only number 1 or number 2 because then he had to shave for the rest of the series or whatever. But it would be cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people want this Duke, you know, the Chris Hemsworth Duke, if you will.
Yeah, gruff Duke. So, we want a gruff Duke.
Yeah, a gruff Duke would. Yeah, even Diana Davis. Shout out to her. She wants the gruff Duke. And then yeah, we got Colonel Hawk or General Hawk. Which one is it in the series? Guys, help me out. I don't want to say the wrong one.
I think he's General, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure
he might be General. So he's General Hawk, but but this is like a suited up version, you know, instead of his leather jacket one. So this could be different. And then obviously Mercer, we talked about that with Specs pick with the Sergeant Slaughter's Renegades, but obviously he's a Viper turned, you know, you know, like a mercenary turned Cobra Viper, if you will. And so he could be a look there. Cobra Commander looks different than the ones we got, you know, and then you can see Mercer and Rock and Roll on the left. And then, yeah, mentioned earlier was the suited Destro. So, and Bobby had mentioned that you get all the different Destros. And then look at that look of Cobra Commander. That's even different. That's from the Cobra Commander series, right? That's from the mini series. So, there's a lot of different cool stuff here. And then we have Risk. So the new, all new character that he comes from the MMA background, and then he's hired from Hawk, and Duke doesn't like it, and they start throwing fists right away. And he's got a whole new look, and I don't know if that's like a logo.
That's his back tattoo.
Back tattoo, nice. Look at that. So yeah, look at this. You even have 2 different looks in the same frame here. So you almost have two different figures there, or if they could do a torso swap or something, would be cool. And you get an all new shotgun. But yeah, I mean, there's I mean, how could I not pick this at #1, right? I mean, it was just so many different possibilities, man. I mean, it's exciting, Adam.
Yeah. I was just looking at that previous graphic with Destro, and if you just pull that up for a sec, Trav, if you can.
You got you. For sure.
Where he's got the suit and no socks. Come on, like what a look! Loafer Destro, like
Loafer Destro.
All he needs is some yacht rock and a bottle of champagne, and he's good to go, mate. Look at him.
Well, if you really look at it, the inner lining of that jacket is the pimp Destro.
It is
leopard pattern.
It sure is. Yep.
Yeah. So they
yeah, you're not wrong right there. Yep. Good call. So it's like a new Pimp Daddy Destro, like a Skybound version. of that.
And this is what I like when they modernize the characters, but they throw enough where, hey, I know the history here and I can say it.
Yep.
No, this is really exciting and cool. And here's a question, Baldy. How would you present this at retail?
I'll be honest with you guys. I think a lot of figures, a lot of deep cut characters, I have no problem with them being Pulse exclusives. I don't like this stuff going to clearance outlets.
Yeah, no one does.
I want the line to continue. Do I want cheaper figures? Sure. Could they find a way to make these a little bit more affordable? I mean, if they're making their way to Ross or any other clearance outlet, then there's probably room to cut the price. And I think that's across most brands, but we're not going to get that anytime soon. Inflation is moving forward. So if a company has to survive and the hobby that I like needs to thrive by keeping it in-house, I'm fine with that. So, yeah.
And do want to shout out Joshua Williamson, who writes the book, and Tom Riley. Just bringing classified to life in the comic books has been a lot of fun. And then given their own, obviously, own designs or own input. And I like how Hasbro, and they mentioned this in the interview with Full Force too, is how they're not exactly like, they're just like, oh, you're working on that too, cool. Like they're like leaving each other alone, but somehow there's like, they're coinciding together. It's kind of an amazing thing, Adam. It's like these two companies are not abiding by anything. It's almost like a video game that's based on a movie, and it's usually bad because they have to listen to the studio and do things right, or like prior to Fallout, like we had bad video games that were movies and stuff. So now you're seeing great comic books based on toys, and they have the flexibility to do what they want. And then the same for the toys as well, but they're almost like on the same page in a weird way, right?
Yeah, the response to the comics has been staggering. Like the sales numbers, I think they released like a week or so ago, is like unbelievable. And I guess it speaks to Hasbro allowing Kirkman and Co. to sort of have maybe a bit more sort of wiggle room to do things and not be so like, oh, you can't, spoiler alert, kill this character, you know what I mean, or you can't do this or that. So I still haven't read it yet, but I'm just taking a guess. But it's huge, and I know that they obviously are just in discussion about certain things, but I think even in the interview with Chris, didn't Lenny say that there was a happy accident that kind of happened where they didn't talk about a figure that they were making, but Skybound ended up putting the character in the comic as well. Was it
Nemesis Immortal? Maybe
might have been Nemesis Immortal. Yeah. And it's interesting that those sort of things can still happen too. You know what I mean? So, it's a phenomenal time to be a Joe fan. We're very spoiled. And if you're not reading the comics, just do yourself a favor and just jump on board now while you still can. Because if they keep going the way they're going, there is no reason why we won't get toys that are related to that side of things. So.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but every Wednesday that they have a G.I. Joe comic, I treat it like getting a new figure. I'm that excited, right? So it's cool. We got 4 of the most hardcore G.I. Joe reviewing people on YouTube, and we're sitting here talking about G.I. Joe comics, but that's a damn good thing. Before we say bye, Sharky, is there anything you want to promote? I know you got a stream that's about to happen, but people are going to have to already have watched it because this is aired we're doing this two days in advance. But is there anything else, man? You said it's a good time to be a G.I. Joe fan, and we're spoiled, and we were spoiled today to have Bobby B and you on, man. This was a super fun show, bro. Thanks again.
Oh man, thank you for having us on. I've obviously been a guest on your show previously, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I love hanging out with you blokes and just chewing the fat and talking about all this shit that we sort of accumulate. And yeah, in terms of promoting something, I'm doing a stream with my podcasting partner in crime, Ronnie Trickshot, and it's going to be on his channel. It's not on mine because we sort of dance between our channels. It's a Christmas themed stream. It's related to one of the episodes of the cartoon. We're just going to go through that and sort of break it down and take the piss out of it and, you know, do what we normally do. Just have fun. Don't be serious and just carry the hell on.
Very cool. And as people saw on the screen, they can follow you at Shark Eyes Toy View on YouTube and then Shark_Eyes Picks, right?
That's the one, mate. That's the one. Yep.
There you go. You've already got the Saw Viper reviewed. You got some Monster Force stuff up there, and you got Raptor. Are you going to be doing a year-end video or anything?
That's a good question. Like, it's not something I've ever done before, but I feel like I want to do it. Now that I'm on holidays, I've definitely got some more time up my sleeve than I tend to do often. So I feel like I might. I feel like I need to, but the pressure is on because the year's almost over. But I've got Xandar coming today, so he'll be reviewed shortly because that wave is actually literally just dropped in Australia yesterday. So Dial Tone's still not readily available, but Leatherneck, him, and the Saw Viper are floating around here. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Lucky bastards. Baldy Claws. What's the holiday sauce? You got anything coming out for us? You got any milk and cookies getting ready for the kids?
Well, I will tell you guys, I'm still working on my shipwreck review, and it should be ready by April. You know me, man. It's family, friends, work first, and I love this hobby. I love getting on with you guys. Shark, you're the one shark that I would go swimming with. You know what I mean? And it's a great hobby, and I do want to add. I have so many things on my list, you know, that I want to add to the community. Eventually, I'll get there, but you know, sometimes priorities. And
Yep.
Yeah, and some of you guys are way better and faster at this than I am. So,
Time's the enemy.
Yeah, time.
Hey, I'm going through the same thing. I get mad if something comes in the mail. I'm like, do I really have to open this and review it, or like it's just too much? And they're like, I mean, I had the whole weekend. It's like, do I watch football and play Indiana Jones, or do I create content? Easy choice. Football.
My advice to you there, Trav, is follow what you love. All right.
Yeah.
I've still got a whole pile of Operation Monster Force figures I haven't even opened, and I've had the same sort of like dilemma those years. Like, well, do I bother reviewing them now, or do I just open them and play with them? And I've definitely gone the latter. So yes, the latter. So
well, it's fun to chase it, right? But when we found out that Bobby B lives in the basement at Hasbro,
can't win.
You can't win with that.
Now that he's not here, let's talk crap about him. Yeah, but that's also the problem, Sharky, is I love too many things. That's why I got love.
Yeah.
And even within toys alone, I'm like, do I review Marvel? Do I review Figure Obscura, Mezco, Jada? It's like not just G.I. Joe, man. I'm jealous of those people that are like, I'm all in on classified and that's it. I don't collect any other toy. And they won't even buy Gridiron stuff or whatever. I'm just like, man, I hate you, because I'd be a lot richer. I'd have a lot more rooms. I'd have a lot more time. But you know, the show is great. So it's fun to keep up with everything, and we have a good time. We always have a good time when we have you on. So really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday, my man.
Yeah, back at you as well. And to all the other lads who aren't here today, you know, like KJ and Dave and Tony and that and Bobby, you know.
Yep.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays and all that sort of jazz. And thank you once again for having me on.
And once again, Baldy Claws, you were the chosen one of the group to do this, and that hopefully that lights a fire in your chimney to go out there and do some classified figure reviews for 2025.
I would love to. I'm going to wrap up my 2023 figures, and then we should be good.
That would be funny though if you came out with top 10 GI Joe classified of 2023.
I
like
actually
while
thought
everyone's
that-
doing their
I
24
think we
list,
had a
which I worked on.
sidebar, or maybe it was with Spec, and I was like, dude, I should just do the top 10 of 2020.
Can you do?
Were
Can
there
you,
even 10? I don't even think
I
there
don't
were.
know. I don't know.
It was like
Really?
7 that came out that year. Yeah.
I do have an idea for my top list, and I could probably knock that out pretty quick. So maybe I'll do that, and I'll let you guys
Yeah.
make fun of me afterwards.
That's funny. Yeah, no, actually, I think people are already gonna know that the video's up that I put up for the top 10 GI Joe classified, because I'm gonna be working on that as soon as we get off here, and I have something to eat. My stomach's been growling for an hour, so I'm gonna let you guys go. It's been awesome, man. And if you're watching this live on Christmas and it's like 9 o'clock Pacific time, or it's 11 o'clock Eastern, you rule to go through Christmas with your family and all that stuff and hang out with a Toy Kind of Mood on a pre-recorded show. That means a lot to us. But it's been a Toy Kind of Mood episode 201. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, all that fun stuff from us at a Toy Kind of Mood. For Genghis, Spec, Tony, Bobby, Adam, Baldy, and Moody, Merry Christmas to you and happy holidays, and we'll catch you in the toy aisle.
Happy
Peace.
holidays, neighbors.